concerns and potential donor influence. We start in the United States this hour, and the US President Donald Trump has posted a message on his Truth Social platform where he has wished a Merry Christmas to those he called sleazebags who loved Jeffrey Epstein. In his message, Trump distanced himself from the late convicted sex offender who he was close friends with in the 1990s, claiming he was the first and only one to stop being friends with Epstein. Trump's administration began releasing files related to criminal investigations of Epstein to comply with a law passed by Congress last month. Republicans and Democrats in Congress passed the law over Trump's objections, requiring that all documents be released by December the 19th, while allowing partial redactions to protect victims. Now, since then, the US Department of Justice has released a large portion of heavily redacted Epstein files, though the whole set is yet to be released. In his Christmas message on the topic, he said Democrats would, quote unquote, have a lot of explaining to do once more information came out. We're now joined by Major General Sudhakar Ji, a senior geopolitical and strategic defense expert, joining us live from New Delhi in this discussion. Thank you very much, Major General Ji, for joining us. Donald Trump, of course, once again attempting to distance himself from the late sex offender and financier Jeffrey Epstein, even given the multiple photos and other evidence that has come out about the closeness of their relationship. I just want to focus on that end part. Of course, Bill Clinton has supported a completely fully transparent release of these files, something that Donald Trump and his administration seemingly has not done. What are your thoughts in Donald Trump possibly is he weaponizing the release of these files against the Democrats?
Absolutely. Thomas, good morning. Thank you for getting me for your show. And as regards the question, I must compliment the democratic norms of the American state. And we are happy. The world citizens are definitely must be very, very happy. At least the rule of law is operating and it is functional and somewhat effective in disclosing the contents of the Epstein file. My thought is a little more than what the Western media is reporting. You see, whether it is New York Times 2002, where the Donald Trump has given a statement that he's a great guy, Epstein, he's praised him like anything, followed by a couple of other Western media, leading newspapers and magazines. I personally feel that it has got to do more than the presidential candidate or the president himself. The character of the nation is getting absolutely lopsided. That is what I personally feel. And a deep dive has to be taken by people who matter at the helm of affairs like Donald Trump. And if he has to make deep dive, then charity begins at home. And even if there is a slightest linkage, I think he should resign, put up his papers and resign. That would actually reflect his high moral ground, moral high ground, as also the issue of self-accountability. No matter what the world says, if individually speaking, if Donald Trump feels that he has gone wrong, irrespective, even if there is a slightest fringe connection with this person, I think the rule of law of this beautiful country and the superpower of the world, it should lead by example by putting up the papers and resigning. This is what my first thought coming to my mind. Back to you, Tom.
Of course, how do you analyse Donald Trump's handling, and his administration, his Department of Justice's handling of this? Of course, we've had multiple incidents happen when it comes to the release of these. It started when not the entirety of the files were released on the day that it was meant to come out. Of course, this is going to be a weeks-long process, according to the Department of Justice. Another thing, redactions. The only things that are meant to be redacted in these files are if there's any debate of an open case, or, of course, to avoid identifying the victims. And finally, of course, we didn't really see much mention of Donald Trump when those initial files came out. And there was some sort of suspicious activity when the Department of Justice seemingly took back an image. And then there was, of course, that contained Donald Trump in it, a very small image of him. But of course, it was reinstated later. Do you think the American people here are getting what they asked for, getting what Congress voted for, and full transparency out of the Trump administration here?
Great question. I must compliment you and NewsX World for raising this particular point. You see, the centrality of your question is how do I find, what is my assessment about dealing of such kind of case, or overall dealing of cases by Donald Trump? Atrocious. It is nowhere close to even normal. Everything that you name, whether it is trade, tariff, or diplomacy, or anything for that matter, now coming to Epstein, and a few days back it was gun culture. There is a case hanging fire in the Supreme Court about the tariff. He's gone beyond the boundary. I think the power, he's misusing his power as a president, and therefore there are subparts in your question. If you have time, then I would like to quickly reflect on each of them. First and foremost thing is Epstein file. I personally feel that he, as a president, he would do well if he carries out self-introspection as a human being. Yesterday, I think Kriti was the anchor. I said, first and foremost thing, no matter how big he may be as a human being, actually as a president or in a very powerful position, he needs to think that, is he good enough to become a human being? What is the parameter of a human being? If he's not, he's 80 plus now, 85 around maybe that age or nearing 80. I think it's about time that his age should dictate as to how he should behave. His behavioral matrix as a president is far from desirable, one. Number two, you have also alluded to the issues that have transpired in past 9-10 months now. You start with April, when he comes down heavily against all the countries, almost 50, more than 50 countries. Tariff is no solution. Like war is no solution for any kind of challenges on the ground. Diplomacy and dialogue should be kept open. We are in 21st century. The world order has undergone change. And now the gravity is actually shifting from geopolitics to geoeconomics. China is leading miles ahead, left the USA behind in many things. Therefore, it will do him good to actually carry out some kind of an introspection and analysis in a pragmatic manner and come out clean, because he would do well, president or no president. There are bigger things in life as a human being. If he emerges successful as a self-accountable human being, I think that would be a bigger joy and satisfaction than becoming a successful president with such malified activities hidden behind the scene and not coming out. And this Epstein file has been disclosed. It has come out after so much of pressure from the Democrats. And he himself had given a commitment during election campaigning that come his presidency, he would go all out to disclose the contents of the Epstein file. Why is he holding it back? Why did he have to wait for people to come down heavily on him and come under the pressure, and then selectively it is being released? Some of the photos are also been disappeared somehow in the net. So therefore, I would say that there is a lot of foul play in the entire issue. And I personally feel a superpower is a superpower, not in military terms, not in economic terms. I feel if the world order has to head towards some peace, normalcy, and a kind of a progressive, forward-looking kind of objective and roadmap, perhaps it would start with the humble beginning, that is the character of an individual in USA, character of the president, and character of the nation. Back to you, Thomas.
Indeed. Major General Sudhakar ji, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for taking the time.